Hi, you're watching a whole nother episode of Grace in Your Space. I'm so thankful and happy that we are here, and this is probably going to be one of our last episodes of December and of 2025. So if we haven't said it already, thank you so much for watching. This episode, I'm going to be talking about the holiday season. How I'm navigating people asking me about, like, oh, have you graduated yet? And it's also some other tips and tricks I've kind of picked up and studied and learned over the years of how we navigate our family conflict and big, huge family gatherings during the holidays, because that's something that it can be really difficult. And so I'm hoping maybe to just give some advice, and if you're not interested in that, that's okay. The next segment of today's episode, we're going to be talking about my plans for a Whimsical 2026. So that might be interesting to you, because I'm going to start a pen pal service, and also I am going to try to learn how to spin yarn. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, go ahead and skip to that segment. If the family stuff and family trauma isn't your thing, that's totally cool. No worries. And then, of course, I'm going to follow up all of that with talking about graduation and the next phase of the podcast in 2026, because guess what? I'm graduating and life is going to continue to go on, and so will the podcast. So that's today's episode. Thank you so much, and here it is. Okay, let's try that again, now that my throat is actually like fucking not dry. Hey y'all, this is Grace. You're watching Grace in Your Space. If you don't know, this is the show where I yap about real talk, things happening to me and the people around me, and sharing things that I feel like we could all talk about that maybe aren't discussed enough, especially for young women in their 20s as they're navigating going through life, college, careers, relationships, friendships, all that shit. You know the deal. So yeah, that's the pod. Basically all the content I usually talk about, plus some of my creative hobbies, because honestly, we could all use an outlet right now. And for me, it's being a hobbyist, knitting, crocheting, all that good shit. So that's what the podcast is about. And today's a really big episode, because this might be the last one of the entire year. I'm kind of like sad to say that, but this time has flown by, and before I knew it, it was December, and I'm like, oh my God, it's time for me to return the equipment and go about my next chapter of life. So I've talked about it quite a bit now. But I'm graduating this December from college and from university, and as thankful as I am to be done, I'm also going to be a little bittersweet. It's kind of a sappy moment where I have to navigate the next chapter, and you're going to come along with. Don't worry, you're going to be here for the ride, but it might be a while before you hear from me next. I think I'm going to plan one more episode, like a kind of special guest, all my friends maybe come on and we just do one last hurrah. But otherwise, this might be the last solo episode you get for a really long time. So I just kind of wanted to update you about what's going on and the future of the podcast, and then also just talk about like real shit, what's going on. Because it's the holiday season, and this is the time of year where maybe you can relate to this or maybe not. And if it doesn't relate to you, well, you're still forced to listen to it. So I don't know what to tell you. Just kidding. You can always fast forward or skip through if you don't really care about this. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I don't really know you. Just kidding. We're besties. Come on. Yeah. So the holiday season, I think, brings a lot of turmoil to a lot of folks. Especially some of us who are younger and maybe don't know what the next step is going to look like in life. So especially for myself, I'm feeling a bit apprehensive about going to my Christmas party and Hanukkah party and all this stuff, because my good intentioned and good-hearted cousins and aunts and uncles, everyone who I know is asking me things about myself because they're interested. They're going to ask all these questions like, what's next? So you graduated. What are you going to do next? Where are you going to work? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sorry, Uncle Pete, I don't have it all figured out. Like, God forbid a girl just graduates college and that's it. So I really wanted to take a moment and just kind of like coach myself and maybe coach you and be like, hey, it's kind of normal to just be like, I don't have it all figured out yet, Uncle Pete. Like, sorry, that's just where I am. But hey, instead of focusing on like what's next, how about we celebrate what I just fucking did, which was 4.5 years of school in a educational system that is crumbling in the United States. And how about the fact that I completed 2 capstones and blah, 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 blah. Like, maybe it just takes a reframing. And that's kind of where I've settled. That's my approach for this holiday season is when people are like, so what's next? I'm going to be like, I don't know, but how about we talk about what I just did? Because that was pretty fucking cool. And I think that's going to be enough to just get me through. But I realized maybe for everyone else, their own personal hurdle this holiday season is not related to education, but maybe it's related to finance, or maybe it's related to your family trauma, or things going on in your family that you're like, oh God, I don't want to go to Christmas because I'm going to see so-and-so. And, you know, they chewed me out a new one last time I saw them. Whatever it is. Every family is fucking complicated. I can tell you that. I have witnessed many different forms of families. I've studied it too, so I kind of know what I'm talking about when I say that there is no such thing as the perfect family. There really isn't. There are families that have really good elements to them where they can coexist and really be like well in tune with each other, but that's only in certain contexts. What you don't see behind closed doors are dysfunctional group chats. What you don't see behind those closed doors are the parents saying, hey, when you coming home, blah, 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 blah. When you're getting together with people or you're seeing certain families and you're like, how do those people all have it together? They don't. No family is ever going to have it 100% together perfect. So I need you to go into this holiday season knowing that even if your family's like, we got to put on this front of like, we're perfect and everything, it's totally cool to be like, sure, we can do that. But everyone knows like no family is perfect. So you don't need to pretend either. And if that looks like for you, you avoid that family member who just like gives you the ick, or you're like, I do not want to fight with them this holiday season. Props to you. Props to you. For me, again, that looks like I'm going to try to reframe everything when someone's like, oh, what's the next step in life? Be like, fuck off. Or maybe I'm not going to say it like that, but I'm going to be like, I don't know, but guess what I just did? That was really cool. But again, I realize my situation is very different than other people's. So I'm trying to give other examples. Like, I know that a lot of like, not to get like, I don't want to like bring us down because we're entering a holiday season and that should be really fun and delightful for a lot of folks, like getting to see your family after a long maybe semester, or you've been living away for a while and you come home for a couple of days, whatever it is. That's really, it could be exciting, but again, there's those moments of dread where you're like, okay, I still have to see so-and-so, or I still have to like, you know, go and talk to these people who I don't really want to go to dinner with, but I have to sit in there. And my advice is just, you know, you have the tools, you have the skills to do what it takes. A lot of people, like, I don't think we give enough 20-year-olds credit that, like, we actually are better communicators than a lot of other people I know. Like, I especially pride myself on that, where I'm like, I can walk into a room and be like, okay, here's who I'm going to talk to. Here's who I am going to make small talk with, but not say too much. And here's who I'm going to like really try to avoid, because if I talk to this person, shit's going to blow up. And I think that like self-analysis is so key when I walk in that room of a Christmas party of 50 people and I'm like, we don't all have to be friends, and that's okay. And that's like conflict management and negotiation 101, where I'm like, you know what? This is my give and take for today. And that is simply that I'm just going to be cordial to these people. Don't really like them, but for the sake of the bigger party schema and everything else going on, I'm just going to be like, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Move on. And that's my strategy. And that could be your strategy too. But I think about like divorced families too, and I think about my partner's family and how they have separate traditions now and all this stuff. And as a like the nuclear family of my own folks, I've never experienced that level of like miscommunication where you have to wait for one parent to organize that party and then the next parent to organize the party, and then you have all the aunts and uncles, and it's like a divorced family can have a lot of holiday drama go on just simply because there's so many distinct parties happening where the others aren't invited or the others aren't included in those things. And as someone who's had a nuclear upbringing, that's really challenging to understand those dynamics of, oh, I'm entering this room and like you don't talk about those people, or I'm entering this room and half these people don't like each other if it's like one blended party. And if you're that person that like you enter that room and you're like, I know half these people here hate me and it's not even my fault, like I was not part of this drama was from 20 years back, that's really difficult. That's really hard to sit in a room full of people in the holiday party and be like, half these people hate me, or like a wedding or whatever it is, like whatever that family oriented moment, because families are like obviously so dysfunctional and crazy, but to sit in a room and be like, all these people hate me and didn't even start this drama, because most of the time when you're in your 20s, this is drama from years ago that maybe you were a part of but you don't remember because you were a little kid, or B, this is drama that like is maybe fresh, but again, you're removed because you're a young adult, you're doing your own thing, you're not involved in all of this. So I would argue a lot of the time the drama that happens in a family setting, a big family, extended family setting that we're entering in the holidays, isn't stuff that's related to you. And so being able to just recognize that, like, okay, these people might not like me, but I can still be nice. I can still enter this room and be like, hey, how are you? And do your own thing and leave afterwards. I commend you if that's your position, because it's so hard to just sit in that room full of people and be like, they all don't like me. What am I supposed to do? And what you're supposed to do is just be yourself. Show them that, you're not associated with the drama. You're not associated with all of that. And that's enough, right? But, yeah, the holidays are so tough. The holidays are like they bring up good and bad emotions for a lot of people, and a lot of it's again related to families and how it's organized, how events are organized, who shows up, who doesn't show up, all these things that then create all these like little mini like moments where you're like, oh, so and so didn't show up, I wonder why, or oh, these people showed up, like they must have been crazy to come here because blah 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 blah. So that's my take on the holiday season. My advice is just try to have moments of fun when you can. Exit the room when you need to. Collect yourself. Come back in. Go on a cousin walk if you need to. I, for one, love a good cousin walk. Cousin walks, you know who you are. You're the best. A good cousin walk is like that moment where you all like collectively give each other the bat signal. Like maybe it's a sign or like eye contact, and you all like just slowly walk out and remove yourself from the room, like one after another. Like don't all mass migrate. That's dumb. Then you're going to throw everyone off and they're going to know you're trying to escape the drama or argument or whatever. But like a cousin walk is, okay, I've coordinated with my people. I get up. The next one gets up. The next one gets up. We meet in the next room. And then we go for a little walk, or we're now in the next room, removed from the drama, and we're like, yo, you seen that shit? That's fucking crazy. And you trauma bond together. Legit. That's the only way to do it. A good cousin walk doesn't even have to be a walk outside. Like, believe me, it's fucking cold in December. The last thing I want to do is like actually step my ass outside. But maybe it looks like we all congregate in the kitchen and we're like, yo, they're going at it, but like, hey, we're all chill together. We're the cousins. We don't like, at the end of the day, we're all good. Doesn't matter what happens in there. We're chill. And that's the best, isn't that? So yeah, my advice is this holiday season, go for a cousin walk. Remove yourself from a conversation if you need to. Reframe if that uncle or aunt or cousin or grandma or sister, brother, parent, whoever. I mean, I literally just named every single person that could be related to you. Whoever they are, if they're like, hey, how's it going with X, Y, or Z? And you don't want to talk about X, Y, or Z, be like, I don't know, but like, can I tell you about this? And then jump ship and get them focused on something else. I would bet 9 times out of 10, they're going to like forget about their original question, and you can just like, sure, persuade them to go elsewhere with that conversation. So needless to say, good luck this holiday season. That's your advice from your bestie Grace. And I hope to hear that all went well. But yeah, this could definitely be the last episode, which is so sad because, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, the podcast will continue, but it's going to be a while. So, as I've mentioned before on the pod, I've been loaning all of this equipment for a really long time now. But I've invested quite a bit myself, and the last element is a camera. So, kind of essential for a podcast, I would argue, but we'll make do. I'm gonna scour like Facebook Marketplace after the holidays and see if I can find a gently used video camera that maybe someone's given up or got a new camera for the holidays and is trying to sell their old one. So that's my hope, is we'll continue the podcast because we're building such a great community. We're building such a great relationship. And why wouldn't I just want to like share that with you guys and share with the next journey. So the next step of my life looks like moving back in with my parents. Woohoo! Actually, it's gonna be super fucking depressing. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I've been living on my own now for 2.5 years, but my apartment is, I'm done living there, so I'm gonna move back home. But the nice thing is, most of my friends live within an hour and a half away, so I'll have my little community. Don't worry, I've got you guys too, so you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Might as well continue making content while I'm stuck at home doing nothing. But I'm not going to be doing nothing. So I wanted to talk about my extraordinary plans for 2026, because I think that's something I can kind of like ground myself in, is knowing, hey, this one chapter is ending, but guess what? If you plan all this stuff for the next year, like, you're going to be fine. You're going to have so much to look forward to. So 2026, I'm trying to bring back the year of like whimsy. Like, let's add more whimsy to our lives, to my life, to your life. Like, whimsy, I feel like, is missing in the world right now. Like, when's the last time you felt like this was whimsical? It's been a while, right? It's been a while for me where I was like, this is a whimsical moment. So this is the year. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to call it 2026. It's going to be the year of whimsy. So what does that look like? Well, for me, that looks like I am starting a pen pal group. So I've been talking to a couple of my friends, and basically I said, I'm going to send you like a care package that has 12 pieces of stationery, 12 envelopes, and 12 stamps. And what you're going to do is once a month, you're going to write to me, mail it, and then when I receive your letter, I'm going to write you something back. And we're going to be pen pals once a month. That's not a lot of commitment for all these people. But for me, I've told like 5 to 10 folks already. So that's 5 to 10 letters I have to write throughout each month, because I'm going to be getting them, and then I have to write back. So for me, the return on investment, not that this is like a fucking business, but the idea is like, probably a couple of times a week, perhaps, or many times during the month, I'm going to receive mail. And to me, that's whimsical. That's whimsical to like get in the mail. Like, I love receiving mail, but I hate receiving mail that's not like an invitation or a letter. Like, if you mail me a bill, we're not friends. If you mail me anything like unrelated to a letter or a card, I hate that kind of mail. Credit card statements, don't even get me started. Don't like that mail. Any kind of mail that's like, no, let me preface. I'm saying mail, M-A-I-L, but also I don't like mails like M-A-L-E-S, like men either. Gross. Some men are gross, just saying. But anyway, that was like a fun play on words, like male versus male. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm really ranting here today, but I'm just like, I have to get it all out because it's going to be a while before we all talk again. It's going to be a while before you hear another episode. So we got to like just put it all out there, and why not? So yeah, that's my whimsical moment, is I'm going to create a little pen pal group, and everyone's going to get different stationery, and then they're gonna mail me things. I'm gonna mail them things. So if you know me and you want to be added to this pen pal service, let me know. We can set it up too. But that's one whimsical element I'm gonna do. The other part of whimsical life, and now I'm thinking about it, maybe I just want to go back to like it's the 1800s, because back then like people wrote each other letters. But I also want to learn how to spin yarn. So now I'm really thinking, like, right now, that maybe I just want it to be like the 1800s, where like life was simpler and people wrote each other letters instead of texting all day, and people just like made their own clothes and shit. Is that crazy? People also didn't live to be like past 50 years old. But if you know me, I argue all the time that like life was better when you knew you were gonna die before you were like 50. Like people lived like today was their last day, because it definitely could have been. That's the conspiracy theory. That's not even a conspiracy, but like that's the theory. I think like legit I will die on that hill, being like people were happier when they knew they only lived to be 50, and they lived it like it was their last day every day. Just saying. So my plan for 2026 is I want to learn how to spin wool as well. That's something I've been watching like a lot of TikToks about, and I know I need to curb my TikTok scrolling addiction, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, I want to be able to spin my own wool. I think that would be really cool. The supplies are like super cheap, and it's just like another tactile thing where I want to be able to like use my hands to make something, and like take that yarn I make and then make a hat or a glove or a scarf and then gift that to someone. So that's the idea, is to like really do something from scratch, like make something from raw material into a finished product. I think that process itself is really fascinating, and I would really love to know, like, can I take raw wool and like use a drop spindle, and all of a sudden I have a ball of yarn, and then I can take that ball of yarn and make a hat, and then now someone has something, a product from literal raw material to finished item. I just think that whole like circle of like a product from raw material to end user is fascinating and whimsical, right? It's pretty fucking whimsical. So those are my two ideas for a whimsical 2026. I obviously want to take more trips to Philly. I'd love to get like a more compact camera than this one. This one's really big. So if I were to able to find like an actual like vlogging camera, I'd love to take you to my trips to Philly. Like I think I'm going to go to the Germantown Christmas market later this month. So like all this stuff where like I do these small day trips that I'd love to take you with, and maybe do like a more vlog type of series along with these podcast episodes, but be able to like take you on little day trips and show you all my cool fun coffee shops and places where I like to do work, and like little businesses that I think are really cool. So I think that could be a really whimsical for 2026 too, a vlog. And then also, along with vlogging, I'd like to make a separate segment of my podcast where I like only talk about my knitting stuff, because I think I'm really trying to get back into my hobbies now that I'm done being a student. Like being a student took up all of my time. And now as I'm going to hopefully enter the workforce in the next couple of months, I want to get a better balance of like work and life and hobbies and taking time for myself, because as much as I preach it, I haven't been able to practice it as much. And that's been really disappointing, and obviously like heartbreaking for me, because I'm like, oh, 2 episodes ago I told all these people like you gotta take time for yourself and blah blah blah, and then I sit in front of a laptop until 8 p.m. every night doing homework and work and all this. Like the balance is not there. So what I'm most excited for is being able to like actually have time for my hobbies, and I'd love to like again vlog the process of me like knitting a sweater and post that here, and having that be a space where like people who are, maybe if you're not interested in this kind of style of podcast, you're interested in the knitting stuff, or maybe if you're not interested in this like real talk stuff, you're interested in the vlog in Philly. So I want to open more avenues for the podcast, and I could see 2026 being the year where we really like solidify all of these segments within my channel, because honestly, like, why not? A podcast can be anything, and I want it to be like all of these things that I'm interested in. I want it to be the real talk. I want it to be the hobbies. I want it to be the travel. I want it to be everything that's me, because that's who I am. I'm this creative, authentic person, and I want to share that with the world. And I don't want to box myself in with only like one niche thing. Like, that's not fun to me. And I think that's where I'm losing a lot of my creativity with the podcast sometimes, is like, oh, I have to do another episode and I have to talk about family. Well, no, today we talked about family and relationships, and then we jumped right into plans for a whimsical 2026. And I think that encompasses what I'm trying to like capture here in the podcast is we should have a podcast and a lifestyle that's like, one moment super deep, but then the next we're laughing and having a great time. And I want to take you on that journey of we're figuring out what kind of content works best for me. So as a creator, I can keep showing up authentically in a way that you're still interested in. And if you're not interested in these real talk segments, you can skip to next week where I have a vlog or something. And I think that's going to make me as a creator too, just more in tune with like what I need in a week, or what I need when I go to record. Because there's definitely some weeks where I'm like, I don't want to record. This is like draining at some points. And partially it was draining because I was creating this podcast and there was a grade attached to it. And now I truly feel like in 2026, it's going to be, I'm creating this because I want to. And I've always wanted to. Like, don't get me wrong, I've always wanted to. But I was associating, like, not almost a monetary, but like a give and take of, oh, I turn in this podcast assignment and I get a grade back and I get feedback back. And then... back. And then I make another episode and I get more feedback and then I present about it and blah, blah, blah. And now it's going to be like in 2026, I just can do it for me and for you guys and for you folks. Because now that there's no limitation as to what this could be. There never was, but being a student really was like a limitation because I didn't have enough time to like focus solely on the podcast. I was juggling work and school and my interpersonal relationships and all of these other things going on, where now it's like, well, I could probably dedicate 5 hours a week to the podcast or more. Or I could actually focus on my social media and doing posts that feel authentic to me and to you guys. So I think 2026 is going to be the year of whimsicality. Is that a word? I really don't know. Let's try it again. 2026 is going to be the year of being whimsical. And I think it's the year of authenticity. I think it's going to be the year that we really crack down on like what's making us super fun. And enjoying life so that life doesn't pass us by. And yeah, maybe it's looking like we live life like it is at the 1800s and you're not going to live past age 25, which would be really scary. I'm just kidding. 1800s, people lived to be like 50 or so. So like they whooped it up. They had a great time back then too. So yeah, that's the plan for 2026 is we're going to really, settle into the podcast once I find a camera, and then we're gonna settle into being whimsical with a pen pal service and spinning yarn. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to hear more about that, well, one day we're gonna start a vlog and we're gonna add a vlog to the channel, and that will be even cooler too. So yeah, any other updates I have for you folks before this could be the last episode? I don't think so. Yeah, I graduate in just merely less than 2 weeks, and then that's it. We're in the final home stretch of December, and then it'll be the new year. So I just want to say, I always say thank you, but truly thank you everyone who's watched, listened, commented, shared, liked, all the things. Couldn't have done it without you. And here's to the next chapter. Who knows what we have in store for us, but I'm glad you're along for the ride. So yeah. All right. Here's to 2026. See you in the new year.